So the good news is today was a little easier. I think I I wasn't sure if it was streaming or not. Well, I'll start again just in case. I think today was a little easier um, working from home. It's very different. I did use my phone more, called people because I was finding it difficult to really help through email. Uh, Let me give you a little something about me because I wanted to talk about how this tech stuff's working and kids learning from home, and how it's such a different dynamic. But I'm watching the news because I have it on and the background. I'm watching the news, and the State Department has recalled all Americans. If you're traveling abroad, it's time to come home. It really made me think about that because. Um, so let me start from the beginning. It's hard to know where to start. There's just so much feels about this, right? So a little about me. Now I'm in my mid to late 40s, but when I was 24, almost 25, I was hospitalized with a double pneumonia. I had it in both lungs. That's what the double pneumonia means. But I also had it was both a virus and bacterial infection. So I was 24, put into a coma for 11 days. They still don't know what caused the pneumonia. And I was given a 2% chance to live. Very scary. I mean, obviously, I didn't know what was going on. I was in a coma. I was in college. My mom was 3,000 miles away. It was getting close to my 25th birthday. I knew that going in the hospital because I went in like July 28th. My birthday's in the beginning of August. And I remember I woke up, had this ventilator on my face. They tie you to the bed, which is pretty scary. And I look over, there's my mom. Now I knew she was not on my side of the country when I went into the hospital. So in my foggy, medicated state of being, with this giant machine on my head and being tied to the bed, um, and looking down at my feet and seeing my hiking boots on, which was interesting. Because actually what happened was when I was hiking, I passed out in a canyon. And this is in the desert in Arizona. I don't even remember how I got out of the canyon. Luckily, I wasn't hiking alone. And so I think the person that was with me got help. I do remember ants biting at my leg, so it was pretty scary. I couldn't move because I couldn't breathe. Couldn't move my whole body. It was like being paralyzed. It's very scary. So here I am, waking up. There's my mom. She sees my eyes open. She starts crying. She's so thrilled. And I'm still like confused. How did I get here? What's going on? It's my dog. So she gives me a pad of paper because obviously when you have that big giant machine on your face breathing for you, you can't talk. The nurses had to come in and tie my writing hand. And I can't even remember why I wrote this down. She still has the note. I wrote down, is it my birthday? And I'm thinking logically back at it. I go, I must have been trying to figure out what date it was. So I give the pad to my mom and she goes, I've been here for days and you want to know if it's your birthday? And then of course I felt bad because I still didn't know what was going on. They think it was triggered by mold, black mold in my apartment. I was in student housing. Those are gone now. The university, because of my lawsuit, the university tore down that student housing because it almost killed me. But I did recover. Even as dire as I was, I recovered. But for years, my life was before the pneumonia and after the pneumonia. Because it changes you. That experience changes you. And I lost about 5% of the capacity in my left lung. Because what happens is your lungs start to fill with fluid. chokes them of oxygen. It deprives them of oxygen, and the cells start to die, and they scar. They can be scarred by the virus. So 5%, it's changed my life. I mean, I used to have a job where I was running up and down stadium stairs all day, doing hockey in college. I made good money because it's commissions, to a job where I had to sit in the back and make pretzels. I couldn't do my job anymore, even just losing that 5%. So it does. It just drastically changes your life. It's why I have asthma now, and that puts me in risk for other respiratory. I've had tons of different respiratory infections. Yeah, so getting a double pneumonia, even as a young person at 24, pretty darn scary. Now, since the pneumonia, as I got older, other things have happened. I'm now a type 2 diabetic. Of course, I have this scarred lung now. It makes it hard for me to do stairs, even at just 5% capacity loss in one lung, not even both. So, and being diabetic, I have other kinds of illnesses that put me in the hospital. I've been septic. I've been hospitalized for dehydration multiple times. It's just the way diabetes is. So I always feel like I'm under attack by all these things. And then comes the coronavirus. Yeah, and I work in school buildings where there's lots of germs. And going to work every day was very, very stressful. It was almost a relief, honestly, when schools got closed down, because I thought, oh, yay, I don't have to worry about it. I can control my environment more. My husband, on the other hand, he does have to go to work every day. He works for utility. Excuse me. I know I shouldn't touch my face, but it's just me. He works for utility. The utility, he has to go to work or we'll lose that utility. And right now can't lose our utilities. We're all depending on them. So even he's extra careful when he comes home. He goes straight to the sink. He washes his hands. Before he even comes and hugs me hello or talks to me. He tries real hard to scrub down, make sure he's not bringing anything into the house, because I don't know if I could survive another double pneumonia. Not 20, almost 25 years later. As it is on my 20th anniversary of having the pneumonia, when I was 24, when I was 44, on almost the same exact day, I was in the hospital with pneumonia again. Luckily, it was a more minor pneumonia, but it was enough to hospitalize me. It was scary. And of course, being the anniversary of almost dying when I was so young, really brought back all those feelings. So the coronavirus thing is stressful for me in the way that is different, I think, for other people. But I know we're all stressed, and we all have different stresses. But I think it's bringing back all that crap. So I am a mom of two. My older daughter works in an area that she's in contact with a lot of people that have been traveling. Let's put it that way. She herself got married at the end of February, went on a 2-week honeymoon at Disney World, flew home through the Orlando airport, landed in Boston, drove by our house, texted me, Mom, I would stop and visit you because we're coming right by your house, but I don't want to expose you in case I was exposed. She came home thinking that her big concern was not to expose me to any possible exposure, because she knew I was high risk for so many reasons. They had at least 3 or maybe even 4 categories high risk for me. So she didn't stop by, so I didn't get to see my baby when she came back from her honeymoon. And even her job, which is in the airport, is being moved off site, and people are being let go because there's just not enough people. And now they're going to say, the State Department's calling people home from traveling abroad. It sounds like we're going into a shelter in place, So, I believe her fiance, or now husband, she got married, got to get used to that. I think, I wouldn't doubt her husband lost his job. He worked in the hospitality business, and his restaurant is closed. And I don't think he's helping with takeout or anything. So there's that. So I worry about them. And then my younger one, who works, she's a chemist, and her fiance is also a chemist. He's like double something, like nuclear chemist and regular chemist. I don't know. They're much smarter than me. So my daughter's boss does international travel. Came back a couple weeks ago from a place that was high exposure, but he didn't quarantine himself. My daughter's 24. She just turned 24 on Monday. That's the age I was when I almost died. She messaged me, Mom, I sent home sick today. I think I have it. Oh man, I don't want her to go through that. No, it just changes you. And so, go to the doctor or call the doctor. I said, call the doctor. Don't go, just call. See what they want you to do. So she calls the doctor. She says they want me to go to a local urgent care that has, now she's in Massachusetts, so this is like high exposure there. She goes, they want me to go to urgent care that has a test. They have tests and get tested. So her doctor wanted her to get tested. She goes to urgent care and they give her the strep and she fails the strep. They give her the flu test. She fails the flu test. So I said, well, did they give you the coronavirus test? No, Mom. They wouldn't give it to me. Why? They said, just presume I have it. Go home. I'm like, what? Didn't you go to that place because they have tests? So when I hear Donald Trump say, you want a test? You can have a test. No, my daughter. And, well, then he changed it. So if you don't have symptoms, you don't get a test. Well, guess what? My daughter has symptoms. My daughter failed strep. My daughter failed flu. She has symptoms and she was denied a test. So when he says that, don't believe it. They are hoarding those tests. They're not even giving it to people that have symptoms, even as young as, and maybe because she's 24, because the information we're getting is people that age don't die from it. 24-year-olds can die of pneumonia. I almost died of pneumonia at 24, and I only lost 5% of my lung capacity. And I say only. It used to seem like a lot because I know what it means to have 5% less. But I'm reading about this thing. And people that get this, even if they recover, even if it's mild, they're losing up to 30% of their lung capacity. And you never get it back. Believe me, I've tried every kind of thing, learning to swim so that I can build up my, those tissues are dead. They're dead. They're dead forever. So we could have a generation of people with such a decreased lung capacity that they're going to have medical conditions for the rest of their lives related to their respiratory system. So you could survive this and have a lifetime full of pain. And it's so sad because she's only 24. She hasn't even had, she just got engaged. And I'm so scared. And on top of that, when she found out she was sick, she found out on her birthday on Monday. I'm like, oh, happy birthday to you. And that very morning, her fiance, who didn't know that she felt sick because she was still in bed when he left, flew to San Francisco. She didn't get the test, so she doesn't even know if he's been exposed to it or not. We have to presume he's been exposed to it, but he had to go for work to San Francisco. While he was in the air, San Francisco went into shelter in place. It took him a couple days to come home. So that means he was on a plane with possible exposure, but we don't know because she can't get the test. And shelter in place meant his business stuff went out at the door. And it took him to like 2 or 3 days to get home. So he stayed possibly exposed. Got on a plane again, possibly having been exposed. But because the government will not let people get these tests, we can't be for sure to know if he's for sure exposed. We have to presume he's exposed. There's a lot of things I like to presume, but presumption doesn't make me right. We want an answer. We want to know if we have it or not. So the last time I saw both my kids was at the wedding. My daughter got married in February. We're now looking at maybe, because I just cannot be exposed. If I get this, I think it will kill me because I just can't fight it again the way I fought before. I'm not that young anymore. I may not see my kids for months. And then there's my mom, who's older, of course. She's in the higher risk category because of her age. She has autoimmune issues, so there's that. My dad's even older than her, so the girls can't see the grandparents, and I can't see my parents, and I can't see my kids. I can't see my new grandkids. My daughter got married, and with that came some grandkids who I was really enjoying getting to know. And I'm going to miss getting to know them. They're already teenagers. So even though I really wanted this diary about working from home, I mean, these are things, though, that are weighing on my mind. And I'm isolated from my coworkers who I'm friends with, who I can talk to about these things. I'm home alone all day because my husband has to go to work. I have nobody to talk to. And I'm feeling very sad about that. A lot of fears, a lot of uncertainty. We watch what's going on in Italy. No, we're only about 2 weeks behind that. I'm afraid to open the door when I get deliveries because I don't want to be exposed. I just don't want this thing. I feel like I've already had my experience with pneumonia and I don't want to go back. My daughter is in bed. She's very tired. She's exhausted. This vibrant young person with lots of potential, and I hope that it's not what I am, but we can't know. We're not allowed to know. So we're not allowed to treat it. And she could have, if it is this thing, it could be with the ramifications are forever. I would have more peace of mind if I knew that she just has a common cold, really, which is another form of coronavirus, but still, it's not this form. Where she went and had the test, and they still want to give her the test. And I'm losing faith that our government's going to be able to do, at least our federal government, our local, these governors are stepping up and doing the work of heroes. I have more faith in our local government than I do in our federal government, which is sad. I mean, it's not, we pay all these taxes so we can be protected from enemies, both domestic and foreign, and this is the most foreign enemy we have ever fought, and we're not allowed to know. We're not allowed to know how large that army we're fighting is. They won't tell us. They won't let us find out. That's just wrong. It's so wrong. So this is just me unloading. Otherwise, today working from home was pretty uneventful. I learned a few things. I lost my broadband a few times. Some of my emails are missing, but I think the infrastructure is getting overwhelmed by millions of people suddenly being home, and our home systems are not set up to do business like this. So it's not surprising that emails are dropping off the face of the earth, or that I had to switch over to my 5G Wi-Fi, which has very little, like I can't walk around the house with my computer. I have to be like a few feet from the modem type of thing, because it was just my regular Wi-Fi was straining really bad. Yeah, so how do you, and every teacher I work with wants to post videos, and God bless them, I would hold off. I tried to make a couple of videos this morning. That's what was really kind of crashing my broadband, was trying to make and upload videos. I was just, because I don't have a throttle on my upload speed. They were just, it was crashing and everything. And I think that's part of the problem, is not everybody has equal broadband. And so people are really good broadband, like, hey, watch this video. And then people are like, but I can't get it to open. So plan B, people always have a plan B. Screenshots, inside documents with instructions might be a good plan B for some things. It's really hard to deliver instruction to kids that need to see it right now. We'll have to figure it out. Yeah. So that's my, I guess that's it for today. I just need to unload the fear. I think we all have some fear. We just have to kind of be there for each other. Whether we know each other or not, we're all in this boat and we're all going the same way. So for now, love y'all. Rock on. Be good to each other.